Hello and welcome to Sovereign RPG, your one-stop shop for survival gaming content. Today we are going to be taking another look at Derelicts, the single dev-made survival game that I have covered previously. Bit of a mix of The Forest, one of my favourite survival games ever made, and games like Satisfactory with systems in place that allow machines to work together, and belt systems with the use of water to move materials around quicker. Not to mention the game has a pet dog. If you'd like to take a look at my first coverage of the game, I will leave links in the description and in the top right to get some more information on the base game itself. Now the live stream Q&A was quite long, so I'll leave a link to that in the description and pinned comment along with timestamps for if you want to jump to the answers surrounding the game. And remember to like the video if you do enjoy my content, subscribe for more survival gaming updates, reviews and news. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, we do have a Patreon in the description. Plus, as a little side note, I have started a second channel for Let's Plays of RPGs ranging from old to new. Something I really wanted to do on the main channel for a long time, but it really doesn't fit to what the channel is. So after some serious thinking, I decided to set up a second channel just for that. If that's something you are interested in, I will post a link in the description. Currently running through Baldur's Gate 1 and moving through the trilogy, and will likely run through many of my favorite RPGs over the years. And please also make sure to subscribe to Remain's channel on YouTube for more updates and streams on the game. Link will also be in the description for that. So I won't be going over every single question and answer, just what I see as the most important. So if I miss anything, please be sure to let me know down in the comment. That was one hell of a long intro. Obviously there will be timestamps so you can skip that whole thing if you decide to, just jump straight through, but you've already got to that point, so we're going to go right through to the actual information. So let's talk about the map size. Now we are looking at a map that's going to be bigger than the Forest, but only by a few times, and in context of maps in survival games, even the Forest map is quite small. However, there was a lot of underground in the Forest that made the game feel so much bigger than it was. Now Remain did say that the map will be twice the size of the Forest map, which is a pretty decent size, not massive, but more than enough to start off with. He did mention during the stream he doesn't want the map to be absolutely giant. He would much prefer to work on the details of the map itself rather than the sheer scope of it, which at least for me is a welcome outlook. The map will be hand sculpted, and he did mention that he really likes the idea of spawning into different areas of the map each time you play for a different experience. Maybe looking into some sort of procedural generation in different modes later down the line. Remain did also talk about having a decent amount of temples and dungeons during the live stream, plus during the early access period there will be significantly more added over time. There will be forms of electricity for power, and it seems that this will not be massively technological, at least in the beginning, so don't expect Ark Survival Evolved levels of tech, which in my opinion is a very welcome thing. One of the factors of why Ark is dead to me is all the random tech shite they kept adding over time that really started to kill the game for me personally. From everything we've seen so far, we are definitely looking at generating electricity through water mostly, at least in this game's early iteration. Certainly going to be much cheaper than the UK's absolutely insane energy prices right now. Now, the game itself will be a 4-person co-op only, so not a big multiplayer game with giant maps and loads of people playing on the game map. Think of The Forest once again, which is definitely a big inspiration for this game. However, saying that, Remain did talk about several game modes being added over time. Hard mode, creative mode, and a more chill mode where you won't have to worry about a lot of the more difficult aspects of the game during your playthrough. Now, the mode that I'm personally most looking forward to is the mentioned permadeath mode. For those of you out there that want a real challenge, if you die in the game, that's it, it's over. And that's kind of the game mode that I really adds difficulty and makes you really have to think about what you are doing, where you are going, and when you should go there. I really enjoy these kind of game modes. Next up we have character customization. A lot of players who enjoy survival games like to create their own individual avatar in the game. I have started games myself and spent hours messing with the character customization, most recently in Myth of Empires. I can spend a hell of a long time just designing my tattoos in that game. It's a serious character flaw on my part, and it does waste many hours that I could be sitting there grinding. But Remain has said that there will be a choice between male and female avatars from the start, but will, however, not have a character customization system at the start of early access. Said that it wasn't the most important aspect of a survival game, and most people don't care about their characters when they're actually playing in survival games, which I kind of disagree with, as mentioned earlier, with my Sims level of problems when it comes to making characters. Now let's move on to mod support. Big thing in survival games, we love it, we love it, we love it. Remain is looking to add mod support to the game, which we love in this genre of gaming. As I've said earlier, I am a massive fan of mods, and they're massively great people. Just imagine if modders took over the government and they really made, they can make dead game amazing. Imagine what they can do to dead governments. And going too far. I'll move away from that. Now what mods do, at least for me, is keep games alive for much longer than their expected life. Some games even being completely fixed by those beautiful big brain modders out there when developers give up or do not go in a direction that the gamers want. This is a very welcome thing and really makes me excited for the game. Not saying that Remain's going to do a bad job. I don't think that at all, but there's only so much developers can do in one direction, and modders come in and they have their own specific things that they really like to add to games. So you get a massive book of what's going on and added loads of different pages from loads of different directions, and it adds all kinds of different variety to games. It's a big thing for me personally. Now, Remain also spoke about adding the option of dedicated servers and has been speaking to host providers about this, which will likely allow for higher player caps than the 4-person, and also persistent games for players to be able to log on and play whenever they like instead of having to wait for the main host to come online. However, judging by some of the mechanics in the game, like weather and natural disasters, this may cause some issues unless there is an option to turn them off. You all log on the next day to find your base wiped by a hurricane, and that wouldn't be too fun. Now we have the big news. Well, for me personally, the big news, the dog. I love dogs, you love dogs, and if you don't, there's a special place in hell for you. I'm just kidding. Don't hunt me down. Remain did talk about several things during the stream with regards to the dogs. Like adding one of the rewards to the maybe upcoming Kickstarter, and will influence the breed of the dog. It's one of the options that they were talking about in the Discord. There won't be any customization for the dog, which sucks, at least for me. But it is early access and early development. This could change in the future, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. However, on the plus side, I won't have to cry when a dog dies because it will only be knocked out and won't actually die. I'm always screaming at the TV when a dog dies in a movie or in a TV series, and why are you killing the dog? Anyway, next up we have the release schedule. There will likely be a beta coming close to the end of this year, after maybe, now I say maybe, because it hasn't been fully decided yet whether there will be a Kickstarter, but if Remain is going to decide to do it, I would do it sooner rather than later before the game gets too far into development. Just my personal opinion on that. And with the way the wishlist is going at the moment, over 65,000 added to the wishlist at the time of this video, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm super happy for Remain in this instance. It is well deserved. He is a very open and very willing to talk to the community, both in his Discord and in his DMs, and just how enthusiastic he is when talking about his game and the future of it, and just how humbled he was by the love of the wish list and the community has given him over this time. If he does have a Kickstarter, I'm sure it's going to be very successful, and the early access when added to Steam likely later this year, early next year, will likely strike big on the platform, which may prompt some outside money to be offered and some corporate backing, which I hope doesn't accept, because I'm just loving the direction he's going in himself. But I understand development isn't an easy task, and it's not cheap by anyone's standards, so I wouldn't begrudge Remain the help if it was offered and he did accept. But that's all we have for today, and what I feel is the most important parts of the live stream. The live stream was like an hour and a half long, so there may have been some things that I just didn't write down. Make sure to write those down in the comments if there are things that I missed that are super important. I'm sure the guys would love to be able to see those things. I'm only human, sometimes I do make mistakes, but I would like to say a huge thank you to Remain for doing the live stream and answering our questions. Again, the link for the full stream will be in the description. Make sure to go over and show some love. Remember to like the video if you do enjoy my content, so I know you would like to see more content like this. Subscribe for your one-stop shop to survival gaming content, and if you'd like to support me and the channel, we do have a Patreon in the description. See you in the next one. Fly safe and avoid local chat scams.